Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Disaster Podcast. We've been getting a lot of questions recently about a proposed rule from the FDA to address asbestos contamination in talc. So, this is a really common issue that we've known about for quite some time. So, I'm glad to see that it's getting some attention and that they're working to address this. We're not going to look at the entirety of the bill, but the FDA did release a news release that we are kind of going to go over here. And then I'll answer some questions that I expect everybody to have as we go. But again, if you have any questions, certainly feel free to leave a comment. We'll be more than happy to address that also. So this release was published on December 26th by the FDA. Today, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration announced a proposed rule to establish and require standardized testing methods to detect and identify asbestos in talc-containing cosmetic products. This proposed rule, if finalized, will help protect consumers who use talc-containing cosmetic products from harmful exposure to asbestos. This proposal is part of the agency's work to fulfill the requirements of Section 3505 of the Modernization of Cosmetics Regulation Act of 2022 that was passed by Congress last year. The director of the FDA's Office of Cosmetics and Colors, Linda Katz, had this to say about the proposed rule. For many years, the FDA has been sampling and testing talc-containing cosmetics for asbestos, as well as working with our federal partners on efforts to reduce consumers' risk of exposure to asbestos, a known human carcinogen, from contaminated talc-containing cosmetic products. We have carefully considered the scientific evidence and complex policy issues related to detecting and identifying asbestos in talc and talc-containing cosmetic products. We believe that the proposed testing techniques are appropriate methods to detect asbestos to ensure the safety of talc-containing cosmetic products. I think that's an outstanding statement that really summarizes a lot of the thought process that went into this and the concerns that we've had for a long time that this bill is working to address. Talc is a naturally occurring mineral that has many uses in cosmetics and other personal care products, such as absorbing moisture, preventing the appearance of caking, making facial makeup opaque, or improving the feel of a product. Asbestos, a known carcinogen, is found in the same rock types as talc deposits and may be inseparable from talc in the mining process. Because there is the potential for contamination of talc with asbestos, it is important to test for the presence of asbestos in talc-containing cosmetic products. I'm thrilled to see the FDA and Congress looking to address this issue. This is something that we've known about for some time. Asbestos is often found very close to talc deposits, if not within the talc deposit. It's very common for talc to be contaminated with asbestos, either naturally as it's formed or as it's mined. So that's very, very common. The proposed rule would require manufacturers of talc-containing cosmetic products to test for asbestos using an analytical approach that includes polarized light microscopy, transmission electron microscopy, energy dispersive spectroscopy, and selected area electron diffraction to detect and identify the presence of asbestos. Manufacturers may alternatively rely on a certificate of analysis from the talc supplier. The proposed rule contains provisions that would require manufacturers to keep records to demonstrate compliance with the rule. I think this is outstanding. These are all standards for asbestos testing that we've used in the industry for many, many years. For example, when you have a situation where, let's say, there is a building material that you believe may contain asbestos in your home, and you have that sent into a laboratory for analysis, that is generally going to be tested using either polarized light microscopy or transmission electron microscopy. So building on what we already know and the standards that are already in place with regards to asbestos testing and analysis, I think is outstanding and definitely the way to go here. If the proposed rule is finalized, cosmetic products would be considered adulterated under the Federal Food, Drug, and Cosmetic Act if a manufacturer fails to operate in compliance with either the testing or record-keeping requirements of the rule. The proposed rule also states that if asbestos is present in a cosmetic product or in talc used in a cosmetic product, that cosmetic product is adulterated under the FDNC Act, and that if asbestos is present in talc intended for use in a cosmetic, that talc is adulterated under the FDNC Act. I think this is great. Basically, what this is saying is that if asbestos is found in the talc that is being used in a cosmetic, that cosmetic and that talc is considered to be contaminated with asbestos. And then also it goes a step further and it says that if the company's testing or record keeping requirements aren't up to the standards of this rule, that talc and the cosmetic products that talc goes into would be considered contaminated with asbestos, kind of erring on the side of caution there. So I think that's really, really great as well. I would like to see this go a step further and cover other products that talc is used in. As we mentioned previously here, talc does form nearby asbestos naturally, so contamination of talc is common. So other products that talc is used in, such as crayons and things like that, it would make sense to test any talc that's being used in any home goods or anything that could potentially represent a health hazard for consumers. So I would like to see that go a little bit further, but by and large, I think that the bill here has been approached very, very well. The testing requirements are very, very good. The fact that we're now focusing a little bit more on these sorts of issues, I think, is great. The FDA encourages public comment on this proposed rule. As I stated, it is proposed at this point, so it hasn't gone into effect just yet. The comment period will end 90 days after the date of publication in the Federal Register, which would be March 27th, 2025. After the comment period does close, the FDA will review and consider comments as it develops the final rule. So we're very, very curious to see how this all goes, but I'm very happy to see that we are looking to address some of these issues because we have known about them for some time now. So this is definitely a step in the right direction. If you have any questions that we didn't answer, please feel free to leave them in the comments. We'll be more than happy to address those for you. And then, of course, we're always looking for content and ideas for additional podcast episodes and videos. So please keep an eye out for additional content in the future. I hope everybody has a nice rest of your day. Please stay tuned for some frequently asked questions about asbestos as well. Would you like to take control of your future and build a business you can be proud of? We can help. As a Disaster Blaster franchise partner, our industry experts will help you unlock the potential of the $210 billion restoration industry. Disaster Blaster offers the most revenue streams in the restoration industry, training and support from industry experts, a unique model primed for your success, and more. Call our franchise team today to learn more at 302-242-1042. Or visit us on the web at disasterblasterfranchise.com. Where did asbestos come from? While you may think that asbestos is a man-made material, asbestos is actually a group of 6 naturally occurring minerals. In fact, there is evidence of asbestos use as far back as 4,500 years ago. Asbestos deposits have been discovered all over the world, and from these deposits, asbestos was mined, processed, and ultimately used in various products from building materials to household goods. When was asbestos used in the United States? Asbestos was used extensively in home construction from the 1930s through the 1970s, and may have been used during either the initial construction phase or during subsequent remodels of your home. To further complicate this question, homes built prior to this period may contain asbestos building materials that were used during remodels, home renovations, or heating system upgrades. In addition, while less common, asbestos building materials remained available well into the 1980s and can still be found even today. So it's still possible to find asbestos-containing materials in homes and commercial properties built or renovated after this period. Whenever unsure about a building material, it's always recommended to have it tested first before disturbing it. Thanks so much for watching. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And while you're here, check out our other great content.